Hola queridos amigos de TvAgro.
Hello dear friends of TvAgro. Today we are going to show the cultivation of broad beans and cubes. My name is George Hernan Caquesa. I live in the village of Agua Dulce in the municipality of Choachí, Cundinamarca. Welcome.
Bueno, les voy a contar un poquito sobre el cultivo.
Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the cultivation of broad beans. They have a duration of 7 months. According to ancient people, the time to sow the beans was a day of Candlemas, which is February 2, and hence the name of this bean that I have in my hand. Its particularity is that it is red and it is not very commercial. Its name is a Candelaria bean. The bean that we are used to seeing in the market is this green one. Like we can see, there is a great difference in their coloration, and that has been one of the great ideas that I have wanted to promote here in the region, to conserve these ancestral seeds.
Bueno, el cultivo de la haba es un cultivo que no es fácil de...
The cultivation of broad beans is not easy to manage. When I started to cultivate them, I wanted to do it like the cultivation of potatoes, which consisted of planting them with organic fertilizer. Then, when they were born, I put them in the soil with more organic fertilizer. But what happened? The plants grew quite a lot. Even some of them were taller than me. But at the time of production, there were very few. Everything that we see here was empty. Because of what happened, I inquired with some people, including my grandparents,
Y ellos me decían que el cultivo...
and they told me that the cultivation should be done in a different way, so much so that those plants do not even need someone to be there watching them. I mean, now we have to sow the beans when they are small, add some grass to them and leave them alone. We only look at them again when it is time to harvest them.
Amigo, cuando les comento que las habas se banaban, era lo que...
When I say that the beans vanished, I'm referring to what I'm going to show you with these two beans. When you open them, look what happens. There is nothing inside them. Their fruit did not grow. It happened because I worked this crop with products to which they are not accustomed.
Con productos que ellas no están acostumbradas. Bueno, contándoles otro poquito sobre las habas, aquí en este sitio ha sido muy importante.
Well, to tell you a little more about beans, here in this place, this crop has been very important. When you see that the land does not want to continue producing, you plant a crop of beans. This is because the land will stay still. We are not going to bother it for the product we are handling. Then we can plow it again and start working it. So the land will start again to produce what is required. Beans have great properties in their roots and provide the soil with a lot of nutrients that end up producing what is required.
Como les comentaba, esta raíz de la mata de haba es muy importante, regenera mucho la tierra.
Then we can plow it again and start working it. So the land will start again to produce what is required. Beans have great properties in their roots and provide the soil with a great amount of nutrients that end up regenerating the soil. As I mentioned, this root of the broad bean plant is very important and regenerates the soil. Here are some broad beans that we have left to obtain seeds. These are the ones we are going to keep for the next year's production. When the beans have excellent production, we can obtain up to 4 or 5 pounds of beans in a single plant. The plant begins to flower at 20 centimeters from the ground, and they reach approximately 1 to 1.5 meters in height, reaching almost to the highest part with bean production.
¿Por qué les recomiendo comer las habas? Las habas es un alimento que es una comida muy limpia.
I recommend you to eat beans because they are very clean and healthy food, as they are a very good source of energy. I mentioned they do not need fertilizer nor fungicide, and we can consume them in soups. Here in the region, they are consumed a lot in a recipe known as cocido Choachí, which has broad bean, Cubios, chiguas, cubes, and several potatoes.
Y pues también es muy rica al cocinarla con la...
It is also very tasty to cook them with potatoes. They are simply mixed with this product, and it is delicious with a great flavor.
Bueno, amigos de TvAgro, en este momento continuamos con el cultivo de los cubios.
Friends of TvAgro, at this time we continue with the cultivation of Cubios. Some people know them as turnips, but here, my grandfather's word, I know them as chirinetes. This crop is also completely organic, and to this day, thank God, we do not have to apply any chemicals to care for them.
Para cuidarlos, ellos se protegen solitos. El único animal...
The only animal that attacks them during their development is a tiny little worm called a toston.
Él se entra dentro de una hojita y come por algún tiempo. Después de eso...
This animal burrows into a leaf and eats for a while, then comes out and leaves. Because it does not cause serious damage, we do not need to apply insecticide or anything like that. It is something natural and the plant defends itself.
Pero pues a la vez le sirve al animalito para que esta especie...
But at the same time, it is beneficial for the little animal, so this species stays there. The cube that we have here in the region are of 3 varieties, one red, one yellow, one white, and sometimes white with purple. These last cubes are very good and contain antioxidants.
Entonces, pues son los cuyos que son más buscados y más cultivados acá en la región.
So they are the most sought after and cultivated here in the region. They have a duration of 4.5 months, and that does not vary on the thermal floor. If we plant cubes in cold climates, they last 4.5 months.
Y si sembramos cubios en climas un poco más cálidos, tienen la misma duración.
And if we plant cubes in slightly warmer climates, they also have the same duration. I have verified what I'm telling you by cultivating cubios in more land, and they give similar results to those of the Creole potato, which last about 4 months. I have also cultivated them in another vereda of the municipality called El Uval. There, the Criollo potato lasted about 3 months and 20 days, and the cubios lasted the same, 4.5 months. So it does not depend on the climate. The cubes always have the same amount of time for their production. We use them in dishes such as ajiacos or sudados. There are also people who have fried them, and although it is a bit complicated, they are very delicious.
Bueno, las semillas yo las he obtenido, pues el cubio...
Well, the seeds were obtained by me. The white cube is very traditional here in the region, so I have followed a process of many years to obtain the seeds. As for the yellow cubes, I got them in a municipality of Fomec, in a vereda where they grow that variety. I bought some seeds and started growing them. I bought some seeds and started to grow them. I got the red cube variety in Agro Expo in a fair. Within the great amount of products that were there, I looked for more varieties of native potatoes, but I did not find them.
No las conseguí, pero sí encontré esa variedad de cubios rojos que la cultivaban.
However, I found that variety of red cubios that they cultivated in a small village in the municipality of Boyacá. From that moment on, I bought them, and now I am cultivating and keeping them here in the region.
El cultivo se realiza pues haciendo también los surcos cuando nace.
The cultivation of cubes is done by making furrows. When a seedling is born, a little organic fertilizer is applied and a little soil is added so that the plant has a good production. Each plant may yield 7 or 8 pounds of cubes if it develops well, but if not, it may yield only 1 pound. That is the average amount of each cube seedling. In the seedlings, you can also see some water droplets on the leaves.
Unas goticas de agua. Estos se van produciendo a diario ya que esta planta tiene la capacidad como de extraer el líquido de.
It is a kind of dew. These are formed daily, since the plant has the ability to extract liquid from the soil and release it through the leaves. These water droplets are not formed on the ground, they only do it in each leaf.
Bueno amigo, invitarlos a que rescatemos esas variedades nativas, que las sigamos cultivando ya que son.
Friends, I invite you to rescue these native varieties and continue to cultivate them, as they are very important and are a part of our history and what our ancestors were in this region. The Muisca Indians were the first to cultivate them. That is why it is very valuable to rescue all that. I want to thank the TvAgro channel for coming to know a little about the crops we grow here in the region. I am George Hernan Cacuesa from the village of Agua Dulce in the municipality of Choachí. Thank you very much and see you next time.